So the first thing that both athlete and parent should start identifying is, what is the game plan? And I look at it no different than you would look at a business, and you need to build the asset. And when you look at the asset, what are the key areas that in the plan that you want to develop depending on the age? Then you also need to think about the position, because the position is very important, because you need to do specific things for the position. Now, the other part that I really encourage is that players need to start developing an identity, and then their training needs to be evolved around their identity. So the most important part is start establishing your plan, and there's 4 critical areas to that. That's going to be the mental side, the physical side, the technical side, and the tactical side. All your training should have those in it. And then the next part is really create an identity, that how you're going to play. So if you're a power forward, then you should have your training should be around. If you're a center, you should have training that's around being a centerman. If you're a winger, board work, like things should be very specific to the position, and you should have a very clear identity in terms of your training program. So the first thing that I would look at in terms of camp from a coaching standpoint is I would want to know that there is something that you've had contact with that team, whether it's a scout, it could be a coach, something where you have, and you can initiate that contact too, where you actually reach out to them and you find out a little bit more about their program, what are they looking for, all that kind of thing. And then you can start to establish how many camps you're going to go to. Now, there's so many different leagues. Hockey is changing every day with all the different decisions that have made here, even in the last 6 months. Really what you want to do is really then clarify, okay, how many I got to do, because you got to also think about injury prevention, all kinds of things, your prep for those things, mental, physical, and be prepared for those camps so that you can be the best you can be when you show up there. But I would, again, really have a clear picture of what that looks like before you just start registering carte blanche for any camp that's out there. I would have a clear plan on how you want to attack those camps. So in my opinion, the number one thing, male or female, that could do in any tryout is their communication factor. Now, I look at athletes today, and they have cell phones, they text, they snap, all these different things, apps they use to communicate with each other. Then you put them on the ice, and they do not communicate. So the number one thing that an athlete can do is be very loud and crystal clear on certain aspects of the game. If they're defending, they could point out, okay, I have this player, you take that player. If it's on offense, it could be calling for the puck. There needs to be clear communication. If you have an athlete out on the ice and they're using their voice and it's crystal clear and you can hear them, they will for sure stand out above the rest, because 99% of the athletes out there will not talk. So my opinion is the greatest growth factor that's going to happen in the game is going to be with female hockey. And now with them having a professional league and that league starting to expand, coming to Vancouver and coming out west, it's only going to get bigger. I look at some of the girls that even we're working around with the Okanagan, and these are highly skilled girls that have potential not only to go on and play NCAA youth sport, but there are also girls that have potential to play pro hockey. And as a sports, we're going to need to support it. I'm not exactly sure how the NHL is connected to the PWHL, but there should be support from the male side to the female side to make sure that it can evolve to its full capacity, because it's a great game to watch. They're just as competitive as any boy I've ever coached, and they need to be supported. Here's the deal. If you watch any professional level or at the national level, if you're not willing to bump and grind, you're not going to play. So at the end of the day, girls should have that aspect to them, and that they're willing to go in and have contact. And if it gets to full outright contact, I'll be honest with you, as long as it's safe and done in a manner that they're going to be protected, they're wearing full cages, I believe and I support that there's going to be a grit factor. It's already there, and anybody that says it's not there, they're not watching it at the highest level, because it's there.